sixth graders, in lesson 2, we're going to talk about how to get an estimate when you're given some numbers. How to estimate and how to round numbers so we can find a close answer. Sometimes you don't need an exact answer. Sometimes the better way to tell or communicate a number is to give an estimate. Okay? For example, one place you may see estimates coming up is in storms, storm damage. There's some hurricanes that are coming toward the United States. Have you heard about that? Toward the southern border states. And when a disaster like that hits and there's damage, can they get an actual answer for how much those damages are going to cost? No. No. They have to estimate in order to figure it out. And they'll use a formula. Insurance companies have formulas for the cost of replacing something if it's damaged in a storm. And those are always estimates. Okay? They have to find a way to get a close answer. So here are some strategies that we're going to talk about. First one we're going to talk about is clustering. So highlight that word, clustering. Clustering is when you have a group of numbers that are all close to the same kind of number. So for example, let's say that we have 236, 185, 221, 194, and 210. Okay? You have some of them above 200 and some of them below 200, but they're all pretty close to the same number. They're all pretty close to what hundreds number. What number are all of these? Could we, what we say is kind of the middle of them? Trevor?
200.
200. We could round all of these to the same number, 200, and then either count by 200s or multiply by the number of numbers. How many numbers are there? Colton? 5 numbers. So we would multiply 200 times 5. Thomas?
Do we have to write that down, the thing that you just wrote?
Yep. This is an easy example of that. So round all the numbers to the same number and then multiply to get an estimate. 1,000. Okay?
It's always 5.
Pardon?
You multiply.
No, it's however many numbers you rounded. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers that we rounded to 200. Okay? So we just multiplied 200 times 5 to get the answer. Now, another strategy that we're going to talk about is called front-end estimation. Front-end estimation. Okay? Front-end estimation is using the front of the number to add or subtract to another number. So, for example, let's say that we have this number, 29,000. This is example 1 in your book. 29,437 minus 12,426. Now, notice that these numbers, oops, I missed the comma here. Notice that these numbers are pretty close to each other. And so, what we can do to estimate this is simply subtract the front of each number, 29 minus 12, to get the estimate. That would be a quick way to use the front end of the number to get a quick estimate. Front end estimation. Okay? When the numbers behind the front end is similar, then you can just use the front end of the number to get the estimate. Okay? Now, that's one strategy. Another strategy would be to round the numbers first. If we were to round the numbers first, then we would round to the nearest 10, or the nearest whole number. What's the nearest 10,000 in this number? In 29,437, what's the nearest 10,000? What's the nearest 10,000? Kiva? 30,000. So everyone write 30,000 minus. And what's the nearest 10,000 in the other one? Thomas?
10,000.
10,000. And so that's another strategy. Now, when you're estimating, you have to write the answer. So I guess I should have actually given you. Let's go back and do this one. 29,000 minus 12,000. What's 29,000 minus 12,000? 29 minus 12. Yeah.
It's.
Well, take 9 minus 2 is?
Oh, it's 5. I know it's.
No, 9 minus 2 is 7, right? And then 2 minus 1 is?
Oh, it's.
Yeah, 1, good. So then it would be 17,000, right? And if we rounded, we get what? Colton?
20,000.
20,000. Which one gives us a closer estimate? Which one is a closer estimate to the actual answer? Rachel?
First.
Yeah. And which strategy is that? Which strategy did we use in the first one? Front end estimation. Yep, front end estimation. So front end estimation generally will give you a closer estimate. Okay? Front end estimation. Addie.
Where'd you get the 30 and then
30 is the closest 10,000 from 29,000. 29,437 is close to what? 30,000. You see that? 29,437 close to 30,000. 12,426 is closest to 10,000. Alyssa.
Or should the 29 don't round it because it has a 4 next to it? You know what you would do if the number of next to it is not 5.30, don't round it.
But if we run it using the 20, using the front of the number, the 9 is closest to 29 rounds up to 30. Okay? 29 is closest to 30. Okay? Now, what if we have multiplication that we have to do? Okay? What if we have one like this? How do we multiply when you're estimating? So we have 48 times 16. What should we do to estimate multiplication? Amelia? Round it to the nearest digit, like the so that you're just doing a basic fact. So a single digit multiplication. So 48 should round to what? Class? 50. And 16 should round to 20. And then do 50 minus 20 or times 20. How do you do 50 times 20? Calvin?
Times it.
You times? Times what?
Oh,
5 times
2.
5 times 2. Do 5 times 2 first, everyone.
10.
10. Now you put both zeros into the answer. Whenever you're multiplying big numbers, you multiply the digits and then put all the zeros into the answer. Let's try another one. Look at this one. 300 times, let's see, times 500. Let's do that. 300 times 500. How do you multiply big numbers like this?
Times.
Colton?
Take the 5 by 3 and apply it and then take the 4 zeros and put them at the end of the 15.
Good. Yep, put all the zeros into the answer. Well, don't put the commas in until the end. So put all 4 zeros in, and then go back and put in the comma. Okay? Now, what if you had to divide? What if you have to divide? Example 2 in your book talks about division. Let's say that you have one like this. 2,668 divided by 29. What do you do with division? I'm separating this so that you know we're doing a new problem. Write this down, everyone. Find compatible numbers. Find compatible numbers. That divide. Key here is compatible numbers. Numbers that would divide without a remainder. Then you have to go and look at the front of the number, front of each number, 26 and 29. So, if we were to round these two, look at the front of the numbers, could we change them so that they would divide evenly? and 2668 divided by 29. Ben?
30,000.
So 30 and 3,000? Good, that works. Is there a closer one that anyone found? Alyssa? Well, it's gotta be in the thousands. Trevor?
2,929.
By 30?
Oh, never mind.
Leo?
Wait, what are we trying to do?
Divide.
So we're just trying to divide.
Divide without a remainder.
Oh.
How about this? 2,700. Would that be divisible by 30? Does 27 divide by 30? Yeah, either one of these would give us a good estimate. So what's 30 divided by 30? 30 divided by 30, Kevon? 1. Now, here's what you do when you're dividing, everyone. Once you divide these numbers, 30 and 30, then you put the remaining zeros into the number. Okay? Because we divided those. We used those. Okay? Now, what if we're doing 2,700 divided by 30? We could also just use 27 divided by 3, right? What's 27 divided by 3? Thomas?
9.
9. And now, what we do is, we use the 3, we use the 27. If there are zeros in both numbers, they cancel out each other. Since there's a 0 left in the divisor, it cancels out one of the zeros in the number we started with, in the dividend. And then there's 1 0 left. So then that 0 goes into the answer. And see, we've got two numbers that are pretty close to each other as our answers. Both of them are good estimates. And this is how you divide the bigger numbers. So just remember that if there's zeros left, they cancel each other out. And then the remaining zeros go into the answer. Okay? Now, for your assignment for tomorrow, what I want you to do is to do 3 through 7 all. And then do 10 to 18 even. Page 8. Page 8, 3 through 7 all. And then 10 to 18 evens.
What is it?